of we are in Abeokuta now, so you should be laid back now. Everybody sees you as competition. You can't really. So why should this person that I'm even looking up to see me like a threat and all of those things? Because the city is small, so you can smell. Imagine you trying to do something and next time you are seeing somebody else doing it. You went to meet them for advice, and the next thing they stole your idea. And because the city is small, and that's the reason why I can pick up from anything. I can start from zero. Even when I was pregnant, I never sat down. I was climbing. They chased me out of Morocco. For every failure that I had experienced, shifted me one step closer to being a successful person. Some people will tell you that they are a chef and common jollof rice, they don't know how to cook jollof rice. Someone will say, hey, I have worked here, I have not, oh yeah, cook. Nothing. Plate. For my food business, that I had to sit down and tell myself that, is this really worth doing? Imagine having a annual return of 19 million naira and the money that went out is 19 something million naira. What's that? Is it the one of buying money with money? Money that I wouldn't, because I earned in dollars. And as an Igbo girl that I love money, so I started selling that. Turkey on Taija. 2020 was supposed to be like the big break for Waka Waka Nation. You just hear that we are going on Kiniko lockdown. I was forced to make a refund of a huge amount of money. For the first time, we had like 15 orders. Yeah, for the first day, we had like 15 orders. And anxiety just crept in. And basically, that was how Pastor started it. Anxiety crept in while I was preparing the food. I didn't know what happened. So the day of the launch was a flop. Like I failed. Woefully. Like it was like the ground should just open and swallow. And there were people waiting. Your brand, auntie has posted, reposted. People are expecting bam bam, like this thing should be. And it was like, my name is Nancy Chidimanso for Nelson. I'm a tourism and hospitality business growth specialist, a personal development advisor, and an author. I run Waka Waka Nation, a tourism company, a startup tourism company. I'm also the team lead and head chef or restaurateur at the Zone by 025 and the culinary instructor at 025 Culinary School. And recently, I joined my husband in, managing his fashion business. That is 1711 Luxury Boutique, where I handle the female aspect and also the cleaning services too, which is 1711 cleaning solutions, basically.
So
Yeah.
It's safe to call you Isia like that.
Basically, yes. Growing up for me was smooth, but I grew up with a single mom, right? But my dad was still present, actually. But, along the line, right? What seemed like a rosy upbringing became sour when she died 15 years ago, right? And I was forced to grow up, fast, I had to be the mother of my two other siblings, right, as the first child. So, I was quite a mischievous child growing up. Like, I was very stubborn. And my mom did not spare the rod. Yeah. I was always the one that would, my mom would say, don't invite your friends, and I'll invite my friends. Don't go there, and I'll go there. Don't play football, and I'll play football. Don't hang out with them, so I was always doing the opposite. until and that was like sort of like a wake up call for me. Yeah, and then we had to start living with people, and it shaped me, from being a sport brat to being like a very independent person, and I had to um, prove to many people that I could turn out great, right? Because growing up, many of them already fixed me in a box. Like, oh, because of I was very social, and mischievous, like I said, they already amounted me, and people that I moved with, they already amounted me to like being a nobody, or they were like, oh, you roll with boys a lot, then you should be a prostitute, or you roll with, you play too much. I don't think you're going to go to school, right? And even at the death or my mom's burial, my some of my relatives already fixed us in a box, and they were like, yeah, that's the end of she's dead. So that's the end for you guys, right? You should go learn tailoring, your brother should go learn mechanic and all. So I had a lot of proof to do to many people. So my childhood was cut short, so I had to grow up fast. My favorite memory of my mom was when I won my first pageantry. That was when I was in secondary school. My mom um, is like a fashion person, a fashionista, right? She won Miss April at one point, and she went to Dove Catering School. She was a socialite, basically. They used to call her Yogi back then. And she wanted me to be prim and proper, basically, like ladylike, right? Don't talk too much. I should have my purse in place, the etiquette and all of those things. So when I won the beauty queen of my secondary school, it was like a proud moment for her. And I could remember that she threw a party. Yeah, like it was I've never seen her so proud of somebody like that. But she could tell everybody that, I I have a daughter that she's a beauty queen. And, I also became the social prefect of my school. And I had to be the first student that had to stay on the high table with the parents and chairman on every of the end of the year party. So it was like I became very popular, right? And that made her proud. And I think that day was very, very peculiar to me. I can't really erase those moments, basically. Yeah.
So it's safe to say that you sort of like step into our shoes because you're almost doing the same thing.
Well, truth be told, I did not want to actually step in that shoes because that was one of the few things she told me before she died. She said, learn from me, don't follow my step. Right? So I guess it was just God's plan. I started food business as a mistake, not like it was something that so it wasn't like as if I wanted to do food business. So remember I said earlier that like I lost my mom quite a young age, but I think I was 15. Yeah, I lost my mom. And everybody already fixed me in a box, like a peculiar box, right? And after my mom died, we had to stay with my uncle. My dad got remarried, actually. And last year, my uncle to finish our secondary school. And I wrote jam. I wanted to do medicine, nursing, but it wasn't just entering and all. But my brother gained admission before me. And I think I wrote jam 2 times or so. And I got tired. Like, what the fuck? Like, I think this school thing is not really my thing. And I remember I went on Google and I was like, successful people that did not go to school and they become they don't have brains. And I saw a couple and I got motivated. And but then I sat down and asked myself, what do you have? And I was just a teenager then. I was 17. So what do you have, Nancy? I remember that day. So what do you have? Every of your mates can do beads, they can plait hair, they are creative. What do you have? So maybe they are actually correct that you're not seeing actually. I said, what do you have? And it took me the entire day mumbling, and I couldn't figure out what to say about myself. So I remembered something that I I love to talk. And not just talk. I love to who goes to new school on the first day and defends a girl that is being bullied. On the first day of your school, you're supposed to be timid. You're supposed to be on your own. I'm in that school for the first day, and I'm standing up to the tallest dude in the school for bullying a young girl. Like, I was ready to actually, not like he can't beat me, but who is the person that when your friends have issues or they are bothered, they come to you, they want to speak to you, and they somehow find solace in you. Said, me. I'm like, okay, I think you have a voice for me to use. Then that was basically how the foundation stuff started. And I did it for 5 years until I heard God told me to stop. I heard God told me to stop. Yeah.
How did that happen?
I so everything of my life, I don't just do things because of I just want to just do things basically. There is always a nudge, right? And there is always a certain pattern that, hey, this thing, do it or don't do it, basically, or stop doing it. So we touched majorly secondary schools, right? I bring in young ladies. We had Toyo Baby, that's Juliana Olade. We've had people like Oya Jakaye. We've had a couple of people that they are geniuses in their field. They come impact young girls, basically to celebrate the International Girl Child Day, right? So I run in like a festival. So I go like 5 different schools, like during October, and October is also my birth month. So I just do it all together. So we impact, we do orphanage visit, school visit, and so in fact, last week, a girl that bought my book, or we shared the book, I don't know, she called and she said she read my book and she wasn't clear about some certain things and she wanted me to advise her. To me, 2025 started off on a good note because I couldn't imagine that the book I wrote when I was 17, printed when I was 25, somebody is calling me to say, Ma, please, concerning your book, like, so to me that was it meant that there was a purpose. I wasn't just doing that. When I stopped doing the festival, not that I'm not still doing things pertaining to the girl child, or I don't still run but instead of me having to do programs and all of those things, I just had to just how did I even stumble on the pageant? It was also a mistake. Yes, I didn't buy the form. I was a personal assistant to a foremost event planner then, and we were driving and we heard the advertisement on radio. Then she was like, "You walk ga 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 ga." You're supposed to go to Yakuma Shelele. And I'm like, I didn't want to do anything pageantry. I didn't want to be put on that spot. Right? I didn't want to. But she kept saying that you can do it, like that is something that you can do and all. And I felt like that was also a good way for me to start promoting my tourism brand. So I went there with a purpose, not just because
So it's safe to say that part of why you decided to go was going for that.
Yes, I was studying. I
Also,
was in school. Yes, I was still in school. I was my final year in school. So I wanted to, I didn't have any plan of living down, living Abeokuta. So I wanted to create a trademark, right? So, and basically that was how winning it was like a major thing for me. But everything changed when during the camp because it became very tough. It's I don't think there is any competition. I see them now, but I don't think there's any that is like Miss Tourism Ogun. It was tough. It wasn't mainly about you buying tickets, and it was part of what we were drilled. Basically, we were drilled. Our projects. I removed my stitches from my appendix, and I had to do a tour. Yes, I had to do that tour to Ebute because on Google they said Ogun State has a beach, and I wanted to explore. Nobody has explored that route, and I just did a couple of 10 people, rented a bus, and cooked, and we were going to look for beach.
we tried going there one time.
I know, really.
We didn't get.
It actually is closer to Ilaju. You have to pass through Epe for you to get.
Went to Abeokuta.
Yeah, so you have to pass through Epe.
So, talk to me about what changed after you came.
A lot,
Tell me something.
a lot. Expectations from just being a personal assistant of a popular event planner to being a spotlight person. I didn't know many people know me. Yes. I just thought I was just doing my thing. So everywhere I go, I can't enter bike. And people will be like, hey, Mr. Izimogu, Kinekon, Kinekon. My friends on acquaintances on social media started calling me to ask me for money. Me that they've not yet given me my money for, and I'm drinking Gary. Uh,
Did you ever collect money?
not all, not all, yeah, but they tried. Some sponsorship and stuff didn't happen, and. So when I was crowned Miss Tourism Ogun, that was it happened that day was my dad's 50th birthday.
That same day.
Yeah. And it was like a beg the gift that I wanted to just give it. Okay, so my journey in Abeokuta started off when I gained admission into National Open University to study hospitality management. Actually, started off when I wanted to enroll into nursing school Abeokuta. That was when my leg entered this town first. And I remember my dad telling me that this is the place that they will hear your name all over Nigeria. And I didn't know, I thought the story was just saying his own thing. And so I schooled. I didn't have anybody here. So my dad just rented my room for me and basically just left me to start what's it called? Start life myself, basically. Right? And so that was it. So that was 2014. I fell in love with the city. I felt home. I knew that I could make it here. No. I was just super confident in myself and whatsoever thing that and I just listened to the voice of my dad. Basically, I think that was the real mojo. That was the real thing. So I was just confident. So some of the things I love about Abeokuta is that I can commute easily. I can basically have a meeting by 10 and leave my house by 9:30 or 9 o'clock or an hour before my meeting. And I will still get there quite fast. Right? Another thing I love, or I would say that made me stay before this whole new government thing, was the fact that I can get fresh food. When I was still in school, I used to go to Kuto Market Day, every Kuto Market Day, and every Kuto market day, and I would with 2,000 naira, I'll cook a for I'll buy fruits, and I'll be fine for like at least a week or so.
2000.
Yes, with 2000 and then it was at
This will be
2014,
this was a
during I think during Namosu's regime. Yeah. So well, apart from that, any other thing before it's no longer. I would have said because of accommodation is cheap and all of those things, but it's no longer cheap again. It's now competing with Lagos standard. So I just love the serenity that comes with the state or the city. Yeah, I'm this kind of person that I feel like I I would want to have like a country home where it's just me, my farm, my maybe some couple of horses, just being laid back. How I started this whole food business thing was in 2020 during lockdown, and actually I've been doing food. I'll just cook for my friends, my neighbor. I used to have a bachelor in the house that I was staying, so he tasted my food one day and it was like, Nancy be doing little bowls for me and all. So I was just doing it out of just fun. Then in 2019, I already started my tourism business, my tour guidance stuff already, and I was already becoming known in the industry, right? And I was always traveling. I think my major job fake light was that 2019 when I did a tour guiding for 50 Black Americans, and I had to do Benin, Lagos, yes, Benin and Lagos. So I was the only tour guide in the midst of like aged tourists, right? And they totally fell in love with me. So I made quite like a bit of money. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're just being modest.
yeah. A bit of money that I wouldn't because I earned in dollars. Yeah. So I didn't know what to use that money to do. I wish it was now. I didn't know what to use that money to do. And I was um staying in Okelanto as a single girl in a room and parlor self-contained. I was living the life. But anytime I love eating turkey, but anytime I want to eat turkey, I have to take a bike to Mortuary to go and get turkey. And I thought this was crazy. Then I was staying in a flat. Everybody will eat turkey now. And nobody has a cold room around. And it was light as at then. And I just saw one container that was just laying down there. And, I told my boyfriend then, I know you might probably know him. And he said, and I just shared it with him. And he was like, kí la máa fi gbọ́ pé ìyàwó kìnnìkan ń ta turkey, ó ń ta ẹja. And I'm like, no, this is something that I just want to do. I feel like I will sell. I don't have an idea of how to weigh scale or cut turkey or something, but
It's a matter
yeah,
of demand,
yeah,
supply.
basically. And in the compound I was staying, there was somebody that was like this called a firewall or something that used to bring in rice from the border and all. So I just spoke to him about it and he was like, don't worry. So he introduced me to a woman in Kuto and I just went there. I think I went there for like 3 or 4 days. She taught me how to read scale, how to cut and all of those things. And voila, that was how I started the food stuff. And that was 025 foods and something, food stuff. That was basically what I did then. Then 2020 was supposed to be like the big break for Waka Waka Nation, basically, because we handled like three tourist foreigners, three groups, apart from the 50 Black Americans before the end of 2019. And it was with their referrals, right? So I had like two major groups that were supposed to come in by April of 2020, right? The Easter period. And by January, we're already talking about COVID. And everybody was just saying that it's just one of those things, Jerry. I was also saying it's just one of those things that everything will be fine and all. And meanwhile, we've already started processing their visa because we all know that Nigeria is visa on arrival. And I was already doing the whole logistics and stuff. Then we just hear that we are going on kiniko lockdown. I was forced to make a refund of a huge amount of money and all, and it was terrible. Then you remember that I started the food business in 2019. So I was not really paying attention to the food stuff business. I only put the sales girl there. There was no structures in place. I just love the fact that I I just had something basically. And my dad was not like, because my dad is into buildings and all of those things. He was the one that came to help me do the construction of the container and all the wooden stuff, right? So he was like, as everything be like this now, this stuff where you don't start like this now, how much you can't don't make like this? As he say, how much you can't don't make? I say, make. I don't know. Then my boyfriend, then I was like, he was not asking me questions. That okay, where did the money go to? Where did the do you understand? And I'm like, I could not answer. So a good worth of like 500K inside went down. Like when that lockdown, so everybody in the area were buying stuff. I had to sell stuff so that they all panic and all of those things. I was not selling it at banjo rate basically, and at the end of the day, the shop was empty. But in 2019, because of I did appendix surgery in the beginning of 2018 before I won the tourism program, right? I stopped taking fizzy drinks like Coke and all of those things. So I was only taking Zobo. So, and it was my sales girl then that told me that, ma, you're always taking Zobo. There's a secondary school, Lanto Secondary School, public school, that I can be doing Zobo inside nylon and all of those things now. So, and as an Igbo girl that I love money, so I started selling. That was in 2019 also, right? Then in 2020, after the whole shop went down, I was only left with the Zobo stuff. And I'm like, then everybody were looking for things that have ginger. They were looking for stuff that had garlic. They're looking for stuff that, that was spicy and all. And a little feedback for my Zobo. It had all of those things. Even though I didn't really have, like, I didn't know there was how to make commercial Zobo and all. Then, during that lockdown period, there were many courses online, like Kwe. Then I was like, this Zobo thing, I think people that are actually doing it on the large scale. Then I love Instagram a lot because Instagram is like my now TikTok is my favorite search engine, right? There's no business idea that I'm looking for that I don't think I can find on Instagram, right? Somebody else is already doing it. So it's just for me to just. So I just went on Instagram and I typed Zobo and I saw lists of people making Zobo, like packaging it like Coke, and I said, huh? So there was this lady that was actually trying to market her class for 10,000 naira. She was a fashion designer, big store in Lagos, in Surulere. Then she cut it off to start selling Zobo. I was like, well, even though, and I was hearing people that were really saying that, they will collect people's money and they will not deliver. I said, well, it's 10,000 naira. So I signed up for the class, and basically that was how Otified Futi Zobo started off, because she poured out herself and I learned and unlearned a lot. So then I started marketing it on Twitter, right? And it was crazy. Everybody was rushing my Zobo. I was basically delivering Zobo every coffee, every time they release us to go out, and I'll go to the market. The demand was mad. Then I started doing collaboration stuff with few people that were selling something similar to that can go with the Zobo drink. So then I remember that was when I reached out to Midila Small Chops. Now she does fashion and all of those things. Then Swanky Shawarma too. That's Shade. Then so basically it was just to sell the Zobo alongside with their small chops and their what's it called, shawarma. Then I think the August of 2020, Midila just reached out on our what is it called? On our Instagram page. No, on our Twitter page, if I can remember. She said she had a business idea for somebody. I didn't know what the business idea was, but nobody really said anything under the comment section. So I just went to her DM. And I was like, oh, people, Afa, what is the business idea that you say you have for somebody? She now said, hey, do you know you're the one go, that I even want to say it to say, but I don't even know how to say it to you. I was like, really? What is that? She said, do you know in the whole of Abeokuta there's nobody selling spaghetti? I said, spaghetti. Why now? Why are you doing like this? Where Mandarin is selling spaghetti? Sue's Extension is selling spaghetti. Ion City Fast Food. You know, it's a spaghetti stand. They're selling spaghetti. Have you not eaten all of those people's spaghetti? Say you don't understand. As in those Lagos spaghetti. I just said spaghetti. It should not be so much of a big deal now. We use spaghetti in the house. I know. And I said, okay, so why do you think I'm the one that? She says, no, she just has a feeling that I'll be able to do it. And I said, okay. So that was basically how Pasta Zone started. And I remember that I didn't sleep that night. It was like as if I don't start, something bad will happen to my enemy. Like I just had to just start. Then I had a connection with Kuta Heritage Museum because I used to take people there. So I said, okay, let me start with an hangout, pasta hangout stuff, and they also get to the museum and all. And I think I remember people like, okay, so yes, Auntie helped me. I did the logo. I don't know anything that is peculiar to my brand identity. I don't joke with it. Even when I was selling the food stuff, even when I was selling those five, because I feel that your logo is what people will first see. First, this is the perception that people will actually look out for. So and then I was dating somebody that was a brand manager and he does all of this stuff. I just told that guy, Alpha, let me do this thing. And he did it and Auntie helped me push it on Twitter. And in less than 24 hours, we had like 100 followers on Pasta Zone's Twitter account. In fact, I didn't even know how to even keep up with it. Then I just did the menu and all of those things. And we had like, for the first time, we had like 15 orders. Yes, for the first day, we had like 15 orders. And anxiety just crept in. And basically, that was how Pasta Zone started. Anxiety crept in while I was preparing the food. I didn't know what happened. I didn't even. So the day of the launch was a flop. Like I failed woefully. Like it was like the ground should just open and swallow me. And there were people waiting. Your brand, Auntie has posted, reposted. People are expecting bam bam. Like this thing should be. And it was like, how do I explain to these people? Our money has gone in. I was even broke. Like, can I refund? Can I? Okay, my brother was like, tell them that I was the one that mistakenly over poured water. Tell them I was like, you know what? I'm going to face these people. And when I got there, these people were like, they were eating this thing, and they were like, oh, Nancy, you tried. And I was seeing somebody else. I'm like, and my heart is with tears. I didn't know how to feel. But those people, they had the opportunity to end Pasta Zone. Like the conception should have been miscarried at that particular point in time. The moment, the idea was conceived, but it was supposed to be a premature idea. But these people went ahead to celebrate me. I don't know why. And funny enough, 80% of the people that came, I don't know them. Yeah. I don't know them. I only met them on Twitter. I'm not even active on Twitter. Right? And I went back home. I did my own work. And the second day, that was it. So people started ordering, from 2 times in a week. We made it 3 times. From 3 times, we had to move to daily. And that was when I had to leave. I couldn't keep up with, my space was becoming a mess. So I had to now move to a physical space at Kuta Heritage Museum, having a kiosk and all. That was in October 1st. We started August, then we started proper October 1st, 2020. So with the chain of businesses that I currently run, that's the Zone by 025, Waka Waka Nation, the 025 Culinary School. I had actually felt the nudge to move. That was in 2024, right?
Just last year.
Yeah, just last year. No, 2023. Yeah, 2023. I wanted to move, but at the same time, I still heard the voice stay, and I got. I still heard the voice stay where you are planted, basically. That was the word. Stay where you are planted. I think it was during. There was a specific program that was held at Radiating Church in 2023. That was where I heard the word. Stay where you are planted. In fact, I was called out in church by the guest minister. Yeah. So that was. I was planning on actually moving. Then I met my husband and I had to just still stay. I was thinking I would also be an excuse for me to move. Then 2024, I said, I can't. After, the same thing repeating itself again, I was like, you know what, I'm done. Having to move spaces, like investing a lot in a particular space, putting all your energy, and waking up one morning and you are being told, move, by the owners of the space. I felt very, very discouraged, and I just wanted to just move, right? I think my biggest challenge is, should I say, the location factor? Yeah. I think if I'm in Lagos, maybe somewhere like Lagos, I would have blew more than this, right? So the location factor is like the cliche of we are in Abeokuta now, so you should be laid back now. Then some of the people that they are quite ahead of us, maybe in what I do, not really being supportive, right? Everybody sees you as competition. You can't really say, okay, let me run to this one, let me run to this one. And you look at yourself and you're like, I'm not doing something small. So why should this person that I'm even looking up to seeing me like a threat and all of those things, and so it's actually very, because the city is small, so you can smell, yeah, you can see.
So it's safe to say that business community isn't quite. That is a lot of courage.
Yeah, it's not encouraging. Everybody sees themselves. In Lagos, right? They strive more on community. Yeah. They strive more.
So what do you think can be done to sort of like change?
It's the mindset. It's not something, I don't think it's something that we have to start saying. I know a couple of people that they've tried to do stuff. Someone like Coach Mike, I'm sure that him too will have one or two things to say, but it's not encouraging, basically. Imagine you trying to do something and next time you are seeing somebody else doing it. And they're like, you went to meet them for advice. And the next thing, they stole your idea. And because the city is small, you can just know who and how and, basically. So in respect of how that can change, I feel it's the mindset, the growth mindset. The growth mindset has to be in place, and it's the individual. And that's the reason why I'm a very strong advocate for growing. And that's the reason why I can pick up from anything. I can start from zero. Yes, I can start from zero. I told my husband that the fashion stuff, I will handle it. He said, you that don't know anybody, you know many people, but you don't like people. I said, don't worry, I don't need them. And the business, will be going on for months. And I can tell you that the people that I know have not come to patronize me. And I don't even want them to. So I'll keep on making my noise. But at the same time, it's not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to have a support system. You're supposed to have a huge support system, not based on eye service. I want to be there for you, not to steal from you. And that's the reason why I'm laid back. And that was the reason why Miss Tourism Ogun, I didn't really carry it on my head, if you know. I won't go to anywhere that I am not invited to. I won't go to a comedy show. I won't go to any entertaining show that I know that would place me on the table of you're a beauty queen, basically. It's not educational, if it's not tourism, it's not. And immediately that I carry my bag and I'm off. I went on my bike with joy and I'm off, up to the crown in my bag and I'm off, basically. It was rare to find a pageant queen. Even Miss Tourism Nigeria, it was hard. I can categorically say the numbers of people. Somebody that is into tourism that is being crowned a pageant queen. So when I'm being invited for stakeholders meet, I'm not just coming as a beauty queen. I have something to say, right? So it made me valuable in the industry, right? So apart from the beauty, right, they know that when Nancy is here, she has something to say. So even my senior colleagues in the industry, I gained respect from them. I started doing stuff relating to tourism a lot, educational stuff, master classes and all. So it was easy for me to relate to them as Miss Tourism than as Waka Waka, CEO Waka Waka Nation, right? Because who doesn't want to associate with a beauty pageant? So I just used my office to get, yeah.